and I'm going to record on the, let's see, recording. Okay. And okay.
All right, everybody. So while John is rounding folks up, I think we can go ahead and at least do some introductions. John, does that sound okay? And Angela just emailed that she will not make it. So, okay. So I'm gonna pick on people and ask you to just say your name, where in New York, and your board role. And then also we have just a little icebreaker question. What is the most satisfying thing that has happened to you as a board member recently? So something that you feel good about. And I think I will go to Gloria first.
Oh dear.
Oh, wait, are you coming? I can go to you next.
No,
Sorry, I didn't.
No.
Okay.
Okay, I'm Gloria Peace. I'm from Hyde Park, New York. I live in Venture Lake. We call ourselves Venture Lake homeowners. What else was I supposed to say? I'm the secretary.
Okay. And then the most satisfying thing that has happened to you recently as a board member.
Okay. Satisfying. You picked a bad day for that. I originally started a newsletter when we first became a board.
Yeah.
And then for other reasons, I wasn't on the board. And somebody took over the newsletter when they started the new board, and now I'm doing it. And I'm very happy about that. I finished my first newsletter, and so I'm very happy about that.
That's great. Thanks, Gloria. Beth, how about you next?
Okay, Beth Lancaster, Marilla Country Village, Vice President. I gotta say, probably it's not a good time for me to answer the question.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Helen, how about you?
What was the question?
The question is just, so
who are you?
Where in the world you are, who you are on the board, and then something satisfying that's happened to you recently as a board member.
Okay. Helen Devine, I'm from Brittany Terrace in Rock Tavern, New York. It's really a town in New Windsor. Did I say I was secretary? I'm secretary. The most satisfying thing, I get to meet some really nice people. You, John, and I don't know who else.
Great.
I knew everybody else on the board, but it's nice to be part of something positive.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Helen.
That's it.
Joanne, you are next.
Joanne Trineri, Venture Lake in Hyde Park. Treasurer, Eddie Cash treasurer. Most satisfying thing was, I think, our pizza clutch, coffee clutch that we had was well attended, and John was there, and it was really nice.
Wonderful. Thanks, Joanne. Margie, how about you next? Hello.
How are you?
Good. How about you?
Yeah, I'm okay. Okay, I'm the president of Brittany Terrace in Rock Tavern. I think the most satisfying thing is when somebody says thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I feel. You know what you're doing is good for the community.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
Thanks, Margie. Carol, I can't see you, but that's okay as long as that's how you want it to be. Who are next?
My name's Carol Cardiello. I live at Brittany Terrace. I just recently became vice president. on the board.
Great.
And the most satisfying thing is that this happened and I be part of the community, and that would be satisfying for me.
Great. Thanks, Carol. And Adam, how about you?
My name is Adam. I'm from Marilla Country Village. I'm the operations director. I guess the most satisfying thing for me is over the last year seeing the community start to grow. I mean, we got one new house that we put in and somebody brought another home in. So we're starting to fill up our empty lots.
Great. Thanks, Adam. Teresa and Dave, is that you?
Yes,
Long time no see. How are you guys?
Just hooked up our security cameras. Well, 3 out of the 4 anyway.
Great. Okay. Can the both of you just introduce yourself today, where you are and what your role on the board, and then something satisfying that has happened to you as a board member recently?
I just got back on the board as
That's
secretary.
I've only.
Uh-oh, did they just freeze for other people?
Yeah, they're freezing up.
Oh, man.
Road's done.
Oh, sorry, you froze for a little bit. Say that again, Dave.
We got our water and sewer done, new road.
That's huge. Great. Okay, so you know, John and I, we're going to be sort of volleying back and forth. And with this, I guess we didn't include an agenda review, but this is a 2-hour training, but we will have a little break in the middle so folks can get some water, use the restroom, whatever. John, you want to take it from here?
Yeah, we've got 2 minutes. I could do an agenda review. So we're gonna we're gonna do a lightning round of open-ended questions. Then we'll do board roles and responsibilities in the form of Jeopardy. So we'll do a Jeopardy game. And then we'll do a PowerPoint slide and a group conversation around duty of care, loyalty to the co-op, and fiduciary responsibility. And then we'll break. And you all get to do whatever you need to do for 5 minutes. We're going to come back and do laws and regulations. So we'll do breakout. So we'll have breakout rooms for everybody. And you'll get 3 questions. And you know, what law does it break? Does it break a law? And what level of government would you have to ask if you don't know? Then we'll go over that binder, the first part of the binder, which is all the various hats. So the corporate side, the landlord side, all that. And then we'll do bylaws and policies. It'll be a presentation. And then we'll ask a question. You'll get to report out on what you're working on. And we'll do a quiz together. So that is our 2 hours. And now we can pivot to this question, and I'm going to post it right here in the chat. And the question is, and this is, if you know how to, there's a little, for those of you who have doing this on a computer or a laptop, there's like a mute button, a stop video button, a poll, then it says reactions, and one of the reactions is what is, can you raise your hand, I guess, or
Oh, you can do that in Zoom, but it doesn't look like you can do that in Ring Central.
well, okay, so you can clap or something, or just raise your hand and we'll call on you. So the question is, who can make decisions on the board? Who can make decisions on the board? Yeah, Helen.
I think we all do.
And Helen says we all do. Does anybody disagree with that? Does anybody have anything to add to that?
Oh, it has to be an overwhelming majority.
Right. So everybody with a majority.
Yep,
Yep.
some people aren't gonna like it, but It's overwhelming majority. Yeah.
So, so if you have a quorum, does everybody operate with 51%? Is that pretty much everywhere, 51%? Okay. I'm on a board that operates with consensus. So it's got to be, it's everybody. And then if we don't have consensus, it has to be 66%. So there's different ways to do that. Oh, so who's joining us? Next question.
You're here twice, Gloria.
Huh?
You're here twice.
Well, I don't know.
Oh.
Now I hear you. It froze and everybody sounded like they were talking underwater. And so I moved closer to my my router or whatever it is. And so I don't know. At least I can hear you for now, but
Very cool.
sorry.
Welcome back.
Thank you. I was gonna pick up the phone. So if I get knocked off again, I'll just call you.
And Beth is raising her hand to answer. How are decisions made for the co-op? Or
My
how?
curiosity question is on that. Everybody, everybody was telling about majority or percentage. How is that figured out? How do you figure out for your co-op what percentage you need?
Oh, how do we figure it out? It's in our bylaws. Am I answering?
Freezing up.
Oh. On the co-op board that I am on, that's what's in our bylaws. And I believe everybody else, I believe all the New York State rocks are 51%. They don't have to be. Molly, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, so on a board, you need a quorum, you need at least 51% of board members to show up to do business.
Okay.
And then you need a majority of those folks who are present to vote in favor of whatever the motion on the table is in order for it to pass.
Okay.
Is that what you were asking? Or were you asking membership?
No.
Okay.
What you said.
And I believe we're trying to get this next question is how are decisions made for the co-op? And I believe this question is trying to get at the method. What's the method that decisions get made at a manufactured housing? Yes, Joanne.
Voting.
So voting.
On the.
We missed a lot. I'm sorry.
So we do it anyway.
Okay. So voting is the decision-making policy. It's not someone doing it on their own, right? Okay. Then we have
Hopefully not.
Yeah. And then here's a kind of a variation on that question. This is so we're looking at the various decision-making methods that you can in your community, like the various ways that you guys can make a decision.
Oh, action without a meeting.
So say more about action without a meeting, because yeah, me and Molly were talking about that. So how do you guys do it, Gloria?
Oh, for the most part, during COVID, we usually did it on the phone or or remotely. But when we can, we'll go to somebody's house and we'll discuss it, have a meeting, and then I will write something out. Somebody will make a motion and we will vote on it, and then everybody will sign it.
And some of you guys make decisions by email. Helen, you and Margie, you guys make decisions by email. Do you ever do that?
I haven't.
No, not really. No.
Actually, I've seen that with Cateros and where else? I don't know. The one thing that me and Molly wanted to point out is if you do have an email vote, and this is something I just learned from Kate, who is the Rock USA person, like she's our legal advisor, is that you need 100%. So if you guys make a decision by email, everybody has to respond to the email, and everybody has to respond either to respond yes for it to pass. So email is a much higher threshold than in a meeting or on Zoom or a phone.
Now, what
I-
about doing
that's-
things by phone calls?
Conference call, yeah. Molly, I'm going to defer to you, but is that the same as a Zoom?
Yep. So, do you mean a call with everyone? Like the threshold is if you can hear and be heard, like everyone can hear what everyone is saying and they can be heard by everyone, then that's considered, you can do business as if you were in person. But are you asking about like individual calls?
I'm asking individual calls, like a piece of business comes up and one person goes through and calls each individual board member and tallies a yes or a no.
I guess if everybody says yes, then that would be an action without a meeting and you could do that. But if folks, the reason that action, at least this is my interpreted reason why an action without a meeting has to be unanimous, is because you're not in a meeting, there's no room for the discussion that normally happens when a board is trying to reach a decision, right? So you want it to be something pretty cut and dry, like, I don't know, I can't think of an example right now, sorry guys. But something that is, there's not going to be a lot of debate about it. So I would say that's not best practice. Because you want to hear, right? Like I want Gloria to be able to hear what Joanne thinks about that motion. I want that to be a generative process. Does that answer your question, Adam?
Yes.
Yeah, I always think I know what the answer is until I hear other people on the board that I serve on. I hear them talk and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Beth.
We have that in our bylaws, but we're also, like somebody else says, you are actually supposed to bring it to the next meeting, have everybody sign it before it can actually go into effect. That's what's within our bylaws.
So it sounds like it's like a straw poll by phone beforehand, and then you bring it to the meeting afterwards, and it's not official until it's the meeting. Is that what it says?
Yes, I'm gonna go to my phone. I keep on losing everybody.
Oh.
It has to be, you're right, Beth, that most folks have to acknowledge an action without a meeting in an open session meeting in some way, right? Because you want all the business the board does to be in the minutes and available to the membership.
Yeah, it says right in there, you have to have it at the next meeting and it has to be signed by everybody too.
Yeah.
Is what our bylaws say.
Oh, I just learned that. I did not know that. Okay, next question. When is executive session appropriate? When is it appropriate to go into executive session?
At the end of a meeting.
And what would be the reason? Why not have the meeting be open? Why kick people out? Why can't they hang on at the end of that meeting?
Because mainly in our executive sessions, we're discussing residents who are delinquent in their payments. And we don't want that we don't make it public.
So delinquent payments is pretty huge chunk of when you go into executive sessions. Anything else though? Is there anything else that would go into an executive session?
I'll raise my hand.
Adam.
I would say anything really that's being brought up that would be of a personal or confidential nature, or anything that could be detrimental to a person's reputation or the way that people perceive them.
Rightio.
You have an executive session without having a meeting first?
Ooh, good question. Anybody know the answer to that?
Nope.
Because I don't.
Or is it just called an emergency?
I want to say it would be an emergency meeting now.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can't make decisions in executive session. All your decisions have to be in the minutes as part of open session. So say that John was in a board and I lived in the community and I was super behind on my rent and I was being evicted, right? So John and the board would talk about that in the meeting, and then they would come out of executive session and say, you know, and in the minutes it would just say like, vote on eviction matter, right? Or something like that.
Right.
No personal data, but the decision has been made in open session. So
And
Wait,
can we, 1 second, Gloria, can we welcome 497-7923?
Sure.
who was it?
And who are you? I can rename you on this thing.
It's Butch from Brittany Terrace.
Hey, Butch, how are
hi,
you?
Butch. How are you?
Hey, Molly.
And Gloria, you were going to say.
Well, we just had the perfect example at our last meeting. We have a resident that, 5 years, 6 years ago, she needed work done and she didn't have the money to pay for it. So the board or whatever, we paid for it. And then she used to make payments. Well, we were on a third management company, and somewhere along the line, what she owed and whatever, it seems that she owes more than she did in the beginning, and she's been making payments. So we went to executive session to discuss this, and then we adjourned. When it reconvened, the regular meeting had a vote as to, all right, let's just clear the record because I think, you know, whatever. And then we went back into executive session.
So that's how it's done. That's a great example. Any other thoughts about this? Is kind of like, I guess the subject here is like methods of democracy and the details about democracy in the co-op's functioning. Any other thoughts? Or we could move on to Jeopardy. All right.
Oh, Jeopardy.
Molly's got a last word.
I do. I just want to say, if you are hearing some of these things and being like, yikes, like we don't do that and we're doing it, we've been doing it wrong this whole time, right? That's okay. You can start doing it right the next time. So just want to put that out there. This is not a shaming technique. This is just to try to get you all the information.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, that's it. Thanks, John.
Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay, so
I love Jeopardy.
so how do we move? Oh, we go like this. Show grid view. And then, okay. All right, Molly, you're on.
Sorry, I think I froze for a second. But I am back. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
No. Okay.
Oh, you're breaking up, Molly.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
good. I'm glad it's everybody.
Maybe try getting rid of your video.
Yeah, okay. How about now?
Yep.
Up close and stuff too. Okay, so we are now going to have a raucous time playing Jeopardy with the T. So it's not a copyright infringement. So this is going to be a quick game version of just discussing different board members' responsibilities, right? So John, can you go to the next slide, I think?
No. So you're going to go around and ask people, or you're going to ask people to go first, right? And then we'll pick one of these? Isn't that how it happens? I don't think there is a next slide.
Oh, I'm just seeing like the heading. Am I not even seeing the right thing?
Okay.
On Jeopardy, they go row A for 200.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Do we-
I don't see
are
any
we
of
just-
that. Okay.
All right. Maybe I'll do it then.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks,
Okay.
John.
All right.
Do we get to keep the money?
Yeah, we put it in your capital improvement plan, not.
With our septic just going south?
Yeah. So I'm at a disadvantage. Molly was the one of the two of, I don't know how Jeopardy works.
Wait, I'm gonna leave and come back and see if that works. It fixed it.
Okay. All right. So somebody help me. How do we do this? Do I call on people and then they choose like which one
Yeah,
to
do
do?
that.
Okay, Beth, go
that.
ahead. Go ahead, Beth.
Me? I gotta choose something?
Yeah, you choose.
Can I just go for I gotta do it at the top, right?
Yeah, you go for the 200s first.
Okay.
I want to do second row for 200.
Second row for 200.
Yeah.
This board member takes careful and accurate notes at all board and membership meetings.
The recording secretary.
Who is the recording secretary? All right.
We don't have one.
All right, Helen.
I am.
Which one would you want?
Do I have to go? I don't have to go in order. Do I?
No,
You
you
could
go wherever you want.
Yeah. Can I have row Y for 400?
Row Y for, is that okay? You can skip.
Yeah.
I didn't know this. Okay,
Oh, I
this
would've went for
board member ensures that the ground rules for participation are followed at every board member and committee meeting. In other words, all the meetings. This board member is willing to interrupt side conversations and redirect them.
Anyone want to buzz in? John, I can see it now if you want me to. Okay.
I got an idea.
Beth.
Parliamentarian?
Okay, interesting. Parliamentarian. Some boards do have a role.
Wait, they don't have one though.
Right. None of the rock boards that I know.
Okay.
Joanne, did I see your hand?
Who is the president?
Yes, the chair of the meetings, right? This is I think this was tricky in a good way, right? Because when you chair a meeting, you're responsible for making sure that it stays within the lines, right? Adheres to the agenda, no side conversation, stuff like that. So, okay.
And each rock should have rules for participate, ground rules.
Yeah, and if you don't have one, follow up with John. We have a template. Okay, Joanne, would you like to select the next one?
Row A for 400.
Hey. This board member ensures that necessary services such as water, sewer, and electricity are available in good working order and in compliance with local, state, and federal code.
Who's the operation manager?
Operations manager, great. Marge, I saw your hand. Do you want to select the next one?
Oh, no, I didn't want to. I was just gonna say operation manager.
That's okay. Now you can pick the
Okay,
next
right
one.
hand row 200.
Right hand row 200. Ooh, we don't have a question there.
Did I mess this up?
No, there's plenty
Row
more.
Y 200. It's okay.
Okay, this board member makes sure the annual audit happens.
Treasurer.
I heard treasurer from Helen. Thank you, Helen.
Am I right?
You are right. Have to say that. All right.
Good.
Gloria, would you like to pick one?
Okay, middle row for 400.
Middle row 400. On a monthly basis, this board member notifies the board of any significant factors that will affect the bottom line of the ROC's finances, such as higher than expected expenses and past due rent collections.
Where does the
Treasurer.
Treasurer, yes, I heard a couple of different folks say that. How about Dave and Teresa? Do you guys want to? Oh, you're muted. Oh, and now I'm not a co-host anymore. So, do you want to pick one?
Oh, she unmuted us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're not muted.
What do you want to do? Row Y, I guess.
Row Y for
200, yeah.
200, okay. This board member makes sure the annual budget gets drafted for the board.
Treasurer, yeah.
Treasurer, correct, correct, okay. Beth, do you want to pick the next one?
Why, let's do middle row 600.
This board member develops the agenda for the board meeting and passes it along to the secretary for distribution to the rest of the board.
What is a vice president?
Let's be the president.
Right. Well, you're both right in a way, right?
It's president with board input.
Yes, president with board input. And as Gloria said, if the president is unable to fulfill any duties, including agenda setting, the vice president would step in. So,
Yeah,
great.
I make the agenda, but
Well, you just went to this.
I get my,
I roll.
Say that again, Gloria, sorry.
no, I do the agenda. I make the agenda for each meeting, but I get it from the president.
Right, yep, so usually it's in concert a little bit, as Beth said. Yeah.
Or the
Carol,
vice president.
Carol, do you want to pick one?
Sure. How about row A 200?
Row A for 200. This board member is responsible for the timely prep and maintenance of financial records.
Boy, that person's pretty important.
That would be treasurer.
Treasurer, correct. I guess the financial part was the giveaway. Okay, are we still
Question.
having fun? Should we? Oh, yeah, Joanne, go ahead.
This isn't like, is this for the people that don't have a managing,
Yeah.
That's a good question. Because you're seeing, Joanne, you are the treasurer, you're seeing a lot of duties here and you're like, hold on.
I don't do.
So,
Yeah.
one of the things that a lot of these say, the way the language is like insured or like, I forget some of the other, but basically it's not saying Joanne puts pen to paper and creates a budget from scratch as our treasurer, right? It's saying, that person is primarily responsible for facilitating, making sure that it happens, right? And with all of you who are, have full property management, often that means, asking your property manager, like, how's that going? Are you on track with that, right? Do you need any input from the board? So it's not like you're doing it directly. It's more like you're just making sure it happens. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I know. Joanna's getting like, okay, should we do a couple more or are you guys cooked? You're done?
Keep going. Go for it.
Couple more. Okay, Helen, you want to pick one?
Can I have row Y for 800? Make it tougher.
Row Y for 800. This board member provides the ROC lenders and TA with copies of all required documents, including meeting minutes, president list, financial reports, tax receipts, year-end financials, capital improvement plans, etc.
President?
Say that again, sorry.
President.
President. The president might help with this.
The treasurer, the president.
Secretary.
Yes, I was going for the secretary, I think. Does that sound right, John?
Yeah.
Because, even though this is, like, as you were saying, Carol, these are documents that might come from the treasurer or come from the property manager. The secretary is the historian of the cooperative, right? So they're going to be the keeper of all those documents.
Okay.
So,
You wanna call on Butch or Adam?
Yeah, sorry, you guys. I was thinking you're on the phone, so.
Can they see on the phone? Butch and Adam, can you guys see or are you just listening?
No, I can't see.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe you can do it verbally.
Yeah,
Just give me a question. I'll answer it.
okay, yeah. This one's for Butch, okay, no pressure. This This is the board member that maintains an official book, of meeting minutes, kept updated.
Secretary, gotta be. I know I do.
Secretary, yes, exactly. And just for fun, let's get one of these 1,000. Are they harder, John?
That's Adams.
Yeah, Adam, this one's for you. Are you ready? This board member
Okay.
presents the minutes at all meetings unless a reading of the minutes is waived.
President.
I'm going to say secretary.
Secretary,
Ka-ching.
exactly. Nice. Okay. I think we are pretty good. But we are going to send this to you all, right, John? So you can have your own Jeopardy on your own. Look through
Party.
the rest of the answers.
Minutes.
Hmm?
Is there a number of years that are minutes supposed to be kept like forever?
That's a good question. We have a record retention chart that will it'll tell you like this document, you should keep it for this long. So we can get that out to you. Is that something everyone would like to see? Or
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I have files and files. I have the minutes from the intern board.
Yeah. So some of that stuff you keep
2013.
for like 7 years. Yeah. And some of it you can get rid of. So
A lot of, yeah, it's useful to look back on them. We've had
definitely.
that again.
Yep. So great. Any other burning questions before we scoot to the next section? So that was supposed to be just an overview of the board roles. So, and I just want to say really quick too, it's not like if something doesn't happen, like if the budget doesn't get done, it's not like we would all point at Joanne and say, oh, Joanne, like that was solely your responsibility and you really messed this up, right? It's still the board's responsibility to make sure this all gets done. It's just that to make it manageable and have an understanding of who is gonna keep track of different things, we've broken it up in this way. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. How do I? All right. I'm not muted, am I? No. Okay. So this is the duty of loyalty and the duty of care, which are both subsets of what's called fiduciary duty, which is confusing to me because that just makes me think of finances. But the duty of loyalty and the duty of care are two of the critical responsibilities of every board member. And you're entrusted by the folks in your community to manage the affairs of the whole co-op fairly, in good faith, and responsibly. So fairly, in good faith, and responsibly. So that means managing the money and the finances of the community, the co-op as a business, right? So it's like a business. So that's why it's called fiduciary responsibility. And so this, you're supposed to make sure that you are making decisions based on what's best for the rock, rather than what might be best for you personally. So that's called duty of loyalty. The duty of care is this is like what lawyers, gets into legalese, a standard of care that must be exercised by a board member of, in quotations, ordinary prudent person. So you have to think not so much as yourself, but a board member, you're sitting there as an ordinary prudent person. Number two, do no harm. So whatever you do as a board member, you're not supposed to harm the co-op. And you do not have the excuse that you didn't know what the law was. So that's never an excuse for a board member that, oh, whoop, we didn't know. You always have the responsibility to find out. And then finally, you're also responsible for knowing the monthly financial statements and asking questions. If you don't understand, you're literally legally compelled to ask questions until you do understand. So it's you're completely within your rights, and in fact, you should be asking questions. What does this mean? What does that mean? And everybody is responsible for seeing all of the financial statements. And then finally, well, and then the other side of this is the loyalty to the co-op means putting your own self-interest aside, as I said before. So that's why every ROC has a conflict of interest policy. And each board member must never put their particular interest above the whole community. So, you know, this frequently means no sweetheart deals for your brother-in-law. And it means to obedience to all applicable laws. So, and there's a lot of them because you're running a business involving housing. So that's the duty of loyalty and the duty of care. And that's some scary stuff right there. It's pretty heavy. But the good news is you're not alone, and you have a lot of resources, and you've all got lawyers that you can be asking, and you all have property managers and auditors and bookkeepers at your disposal, and you've got me. So you have a whole team of helpers to call upon. Let's see here.
John?
Yes, is that Butch? Yeah.
Yeah, Molly sent us many documents for us to sign, and one of them was just that we wouldn't act for ourselves, but act for the community at large in financial whatever.
So, and Molly, was that the ethics policy that everybody had to sign?
Yeah.
Right, probably the code of ethics. Does that sound like that, Butch?
Yeah, it does.
So this is good policy, and the board I'm on has a conflict of interest policy, and every year we're supposed to sign it. Carol?
Yes, right.
Oh, were you talking to someone else, Carol?
No, I'm sorry, I was talking to my dog.
And what did your dog say back?
Nothing.
Okay.
He's smart.
Beth?
Are all these things something everybody's supposed to sign? Because all we ever had was the confidentiality one.
Yeah, you can also, I saw that you've got also the conflict of interest. So you've got conflict of interest, procurement policy, and a code of ethics. Marilla has all three.
Okay.
Right.
And often what boards will do is exactly what John is saying, is every year or when a board member is new or something, you will re-sign or sign those documents as like an acknowledgement type form, like saying like, yes, I received, I read it, I promise to adhere to it, kind of thing.
And there's the annual thing has like a recommitment. I don't know if this is a good analogy, but if you go to if you're part of a congregation, part of most religions are you recommit yourself to your values, right? And so, you know, if you're Catholic, you take communion, you know. And I don't know if I'm diminishing religion by comparing it to this, but I think it's the same idea. You're every year you're recommitting yourself to the fundamental values of your organization. It's not a religion, but it's the same kind of process.
This is a legal document, though, John.
Yeah, and not to mention the legal aspect of it. Let's talk about the wheels going off the cart. What would be outrageous things that you could do as a board member that would completely violate duty of loyalty and duty of care? What are the most outrageous scenarios you can think of?
Getting your driveway paved free because you had the potholes filled.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Nice. That's classic. Can you guys see that when I just typed it? Did it?
No.
No, you are not sharing.
Ah, I didn't do this. Okay. There we go. Thank you, Butch. What else? What would be an absolutely crazy thing for you to do? Dave, how about you?
I don't know, really. We just got all our stuff pretty much done. Lawn care.
What would be a crazy lawn care thing that would be illegal?
Illegal?
Yeah, for the board member, or to violate the duty of care and duty of loyalty.
Oh, if they dug too deep or something without calling an electric company.
Okay. Not
I
following
got one.
code or electric company guidelines.
It looks like Joanne has one and then Adam.
Okay. Joanne?
We could talk to other members of the community about who's past due on their rent or, what was in executive session.
A good one.
Can you make that any bigger?
Yeah.
I can't.
Yep.
Adam, what are you?
Well, I mean, now I'm involved in sales and going through
Okay.
doing the bidding process, but, if a vendor or somebody that you're hiring says, hey, whatever the bid is, just, tell me what the low number is, I'll match it or I'll beat it, going through and disclosing that and not getting fair numbers and, in a way to kind of doing a disservice to other vendors that you could potentially be dealing with in the future as well.
Great. Yeah. Sneaky deals with contractors.
Yeah. I have two examples of something that actually happened here. A former board member, when the snowplows come around and they do damage to the lawn, they come and they spray some grass seed and stuff along the edges, and this particular person had to do the whole lawn. And then what was it? Okay, and he also discounted his own rent.
What?
I didn't even know that
That
was an
actually
option.
happened.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not hearing anybody anymore.
Anybody else got any crazy stuff? We could declare victory on this list. So you get the idea. Okay. What do I have here? Okay. So that brings us to our break, right, Molly? So do you guys want to take a 10-minute break? See you back at 7 o'clock.
So log back in again?
Or not, just stay up.
You can just leave it up. You can turn off your video and mute yourself. But yeah, leaving, you don't have to leave.
Yeah.
We'll just go and then I'll mute myself and it's like I'm not
I
here.
can't hear.
See you at 7 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah.
John, it seems like every time someone screen shares, my Ring Central crashes, which is okay. I just wanted you to know about that.
Oh, man.
Oh, did you hear that, John? Oh, I just said every time you share, my Ring Central crashes, which is fine, and like comes back, but I just wanted you to be aware of that. I don't know if it's too hot. This has never happened before. My computer is like, no, stop.
Look at the heat. It's 103 today over here.
Right, right.
Where are you?
Rock Tavern. Town of New Windsor.
You're in New Windsor?
Yeah.
I used to live in New Windsor.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where we live.
What's the name of your park?
Brittany Terrace.
Huh.
We're between Route 207 and 94.
Yeah. Yeah. I was a home health aide and I had a patient in there.
Oh,
Small world.
yeah, it is. It is. It's nice out here because we're in the country. I call it the country. Quiet out here. I'm
You have an
reading.
air.
I'm reading my secretary notes, John.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you can annotate.
It's only been a couple of months. I really think I should read it.
Yeah.
Nothing in here. I don't know. No, maybe.
Okay, it looks like, did we lose a couple people?
I'm back.
The grid seems smaller.
Yeah, I think we lost Margie.
Oh, okay. She has
And-
Telephone people.
And then,
really well.
and Newtown, did we
Oh,
lose?
yeah. They may have left. Maybe they'll come back, maybe.
Telephone people, did we lose them?
No, I see Adam and Butch here.
Okay.
Okay. So I think we can get going, John. Do you think so?
Think so.
I love you for more than putting my air conditioner in. My daughter was here putting an air conditioner in.
Hey. Did you hear us? Good. I'm glad, Joanne. So, John, there we go. And hopefully I will remain on the line while you screen share. I'm still here. Can you still hear me? Okay,
Yeah.
great. So, John just said in his fiduciary duty section, right, that ignorance of the law is no excuse.
Right.
And so with that in mind, we thought we'd take you on a quick stroll through the layers of laws that govern your cooperatives. So John also mentioned that because you are a housing provider, you have some pretty big laws with a lot of teeth that you answer to, especially on the federal level. So they sort of they're like bowls, right, in the law sort of sit, and that's not a good analogy. Those Russian nesting dolls is a better analogy. Those rusting nesting dolls. And the first bucket is the federal laws. So I'm sure most of you have heard of the fair housing laws. And that basically, the headline of those laws is don't discriminate. If you're a housing provider, it doesn't matter who you are. I could own a house that I rent out as my personal property, and I still can't discriminate on the basis of a variety of personal identifiers. Can anyone think of something I cannot discriminate based on if I'm a housing provider? Age. Ooh, that's a good one. Really quick side tangent. What's one exception to that?
We're in a senior park.
Yes, two of you are three more. Some of you are representing 55 plus communities right now. So there's also the Housing of Older Persons Act, that is a federal law that I think of it as sort of a carve out within the Fair Housing Act. So it's really giving you, in a sense, license to discriminate against someone based on age. And that's because senior citizens are also, considered a vulnerable class in that regard. So, but thank you, Adam. Age, yes. What's something else? I can't discriminate against someone.
Race.
Race, perfect. Anyone else think of one?
Probably gender by now.
Yes, gender and
Disability.
Ooh, thank you, Adam. Wow, you are killing it today, because also there is that ADA under fair housing. If you're looking at the PowerPoint, the Americans with Disabilities Act. That means if I have, if someone says to me, I'm on the board, and someone applies and they say, we have a 25-pound limit on dogs. And they say, well, I need to bring my emotional support anaconda, right? I have a big snake and I need it because I have a doctor's note that I have, PSD or something, and I need my snake to come with me. Can you say no snakes? We don't allow snakes.
I would. I don't know if it's legal.
Our community rules say no snakes.
Right. Yeah. Maybe snake was an extreme example.
I think it's like it's the ones that are for emotional and for what's the other one?
Service.
The service. Okay, you can't discriminate against them unless it's like a breed or something that you already have in your emotional a breed that you already have within your bylaws,
right,
or rules.
You can't discriminate. I mean, I have never seen someone try to keep out a breed based on their rules. That's an emotional support animal, and
really?
As a non-attorney, I would still advise against that, because
oh wow, we were told that. Okay.
I mean, you talk to your attorney, because it's really bad to run afoul of those Americans with Disabilities Act. Another thing that I just saw the other day was this group wanted to deny someone a covering over their ramp, because they just didn't like the way that it was proposed to look, right? But this person can't shovel, they're in a wheelchair, they need the covering of their ramp. So they were, they had to concede that point. So so there's fair housing, there's the ADA, and then also Fair Credit Reporting Act determines how you handle information related to an applicant's credit score and credit report. And there's policies that you can put in place for that. It mostly has to do with what you have to let them know about their credit report, and then the timeline on which you have to destroy the report, and that you keep it confidential and all that stuff. So those are federal laws. Any questions about those? Super exciting stuff. So, and then we live in New York State. So of course we have plenty of state laws that also govern how you all do business. So you all are incorporated as not-for-profit corporations, not cooperative corporations, which is a little bit confusing. So you have to look to the laws that govern a not-for-profit corporation to determine what kinds of things. Like sometimes there's things in there about, like, when COVID hit and we were all trying to figure out how you can take a membership vote, right? Outside of a meeting. There's stuff in not-for-profit law related to that. And then Article 4, the formation of corporations. So how you formed, the paperwork you had to fill out when you first became a corporation. These are subsections of that not-for-profit law. So it has to do with your membership, dictates how you deal with them a little bit, and Article 7, directors and officers. And I'm just going to interrupt myself and say that also you all these laws were considered when you're, you know how we have those template bylaws and those go out to you. Those have been vetted by an attorney familiar with this law, right? So also if you've been around for a while, it might be a good idea to do a refresh based on the template, because the template gets refreshed and laws change and things of that nature. And then real property law 233 governs manufactured housing communities writ large, right? So maybe some of you remember back in July of 2019 when that law changed, right? They put in a rent control piece, just as one example, right? So that is a law that still governs you, even though you are a not-for-profit corporation with members. And then real property law 234 and 237, or through 237, I'm sorry, governs landlord-tenant relations. So even though folks are members of a corporation to which they pay their rent, they're still tenants in the eyes of the law, right? So you have to adhere to all that. And then we go even closer to home, and your local. Mostly this relates to building codes, restrictions on like fire restrictions, occupancy standards. So how many people per bedroom can a home fit, for example, would be an occupancy standard. And then the Department of Health too will often, you know, sometimes they'll like go through your community, they'll cite you with any violations they see, and they can be a partner with you in remedying those situations. So local codes, building codes and things of that nature are on the local level. So did I pretty much cover that, John? Did I miss anything?
That's it.
No.
Good job.
Okay, thank you. So now we're going to do the breakout rooms. So what John and I have done is devised what we think are some pretty tricky, but not too tricky, scenarios in which we want you to decide as a group, small group, what law does this break if it breaks the law? So I guess the first question is the law broken in this scenario? And what law does it break? And if you're stumped, if you're like, I know that I just found out 15 minutes ago, I have to know all these laws, but I just don't know them. What level of government would you have to go to, do you think, to get the answer to your question, does this break a law? Right? Okay. Does that make sense?
I just shared those three things to the chat.
Great. And when you go to your breakout rooms, you'll take the chat with you if you're on your computer. So, and so
you got 7.
Okay, great. And I am no longer a co-host, John. So you need to.
Really? Oh.
Because I got booted out by my internet.
All right. Welcome back. You are now co-host.
Okay. So I will. I don't think I am a co-host yet.
I did not succeed.
Oh, there we go. But I still can't see the breakout rooms. That must be, we should have practiced this in Ring Central. We practiced it in Zoom.
Okay, so I'm doing it then?
Yes.
Okay, I'm doing the breakout rooms. All right. Gonna assign, let's see, probably more people in a room is better. So I'll make 2 rooms. And so here's your directions. You're gonna go into a room with either 3 or 4 people. One of you will be responsible when we all get back together to report out the answers. And I will go into your room and I will give you 3 scenarios, and your job will be to say what law it breaks, or does this break a law? And if it does break a law, what law does it break? Or if you're stumped, what level of government would you have to ask a question to? And that's in your chat. And so I'm gonna boot you all into 2 rooms, and then I'm gonna follow you and give you your scenarios. Does anybody have any questions?
Oh, we didn't say how long they'll have, did we?
You were going to have, let's say, 7 minutes. How's that sound? Because we got 15, yeah, seven. All right? Is that
Sure.
okay? Any questions? No? Okay. And so off you go. So how do I send people there? Not started. Open all rooms.
Open all rooms, yep.
So you've all been invited to join the breakout rooms. Okay. Away.
Do I hit join?
Yep, hit
Join.
join.
Okay.
You all have to hit join.
Yep, you just gotta hit join.
Okay. They also, it sends them out automatically, doesn't it?
You have to tick a box to send them automatically.
Okay. How do I get there?
I can go breakout room 1 because you invited that.
Oh, I can go to, I join.
So
I'm going to click.
Do you want me to go to 1 or you're gonna go to both?
I'm taking the first 3 to 1. You want to take the second 3 to 2?
You only invited me to 1, so I can only go to 1.
Oh, I see what I just did. Okay. Could you do the first 3 in 1?
First 3, yep.
Thank you. I got confused. I got dropped on my head.